All right, now we're back. Now, now we're gonna do some decision making. In case you aren't familiar, Magic: The Gathering Arena is a game that's currently in development. This is the closed beta. They just lifted their non-disclosure agreement today, allowing us to stream the game live for our audiences around the world. And what they did is they reset our how much they want to be talking about. I had few decks that I was pretty happy with. Now I am starting all over again with new cards, and I need to figure out the best way to build the most viable deck as quickly as possible, because I really have no interest in playing pre-constructed decks. The ones that I took a look at the deck list the other day, they're all one ofs, two ofs. They look really inconsistent, and that's just not how I roll. So I'm going to get to work on putting together an optimized deck based off of what I pulled in my booster packs. Unfortunately, they didn't seem super strong, so let's just see what we got here and cash in some of those wild cards. And for my viewers, just go ahead and chat me if I'm still live, okay? All right. So let's take a look at what I've got to work with. Gave me 2 copies of Selesnya Pride. What is... As much as I like cats, I don't think it gave me double the contents. So I'm going to build a whole new deck. I have 4 rare wild cards, 5 uncommon, and 6 common wild cards. First thing I want to do is see what I have 4 ofs. I don't know if I have a way to sort this just based on the number of cards. Some of the archetypes I'm looking at are red, but without Hazoret, that seems underwhelming. Control, they seem to have given us good control cards, so that's an option. And of course, there's the tribal strategies for dinosaurs and merfolk. Vampires are okay, but they tend to be really dependent on having a variety of rares and mythics, so probably not the best deck to start off with. Let's see. I've got 2 unclaimed territories to work with. That's a good sign. They gave me a full playset of all the tap dual lands. And it appears I've got 2 ofs of all the cycling lands, and that's interesting. Dinosaurs tend to be really powerful just in the fact that they can go ahead and curve out really well. They also have really good commons and uncommons. Of course, they'll be that. And a couple big dinosaurs here. You don't want to go too big with your dinosaurs, though, because then your deck will stall out. Your goal is to go very mid-range and race them onto the board, and then your top end just goes over your opponent's best creatures. Not a lot to work with here. Obviously, no Carnage Tyrants, Raging Regisaur, and Raging Swordtooth are okay. They're definitely no Regisaur Alpha. Not the 4-drop of choice. So maybe not so much on the dinosaurs. When it comes to Merfolk, they tend to be very uncommon heavy. You want to have Kamina Speaker, and you want to have Merfolk Mistbinder, and then any Kaminas that you pull as a mythic, that's what puts the deck over the top. So, don't have a lot of playsets here. That's where the few wild cards I have. I was kind of expecting to have a little bit more wild cards, so I'm going to be a little more judicious as to how I dole them out. Let's see. Three Ops is a good sign. 3 Spell Pierce. A Crested Sunmare. Interesting. Azorius Control is looking pretty good right now. We shall see. Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's inform our decision based off of what quests we have. Right now, 12 red or green spells, 12 black or green spells, and attack with 15 creatures. So, right out the gate, it looks like my quests will reward me for having an aggressive green deck. So that'll be where I'm focusing, is being aggressive and casting green spells. That way I can get more packs and build my collection from there. Let's build a deck. Okay. So what have we got in green that really excites me? I could potentially go green white cats. I could go green blue merfolk. I could go green black explorer because we definitely have the key cards for explorer. And then there's green red dinosaurs, which is definitely something I'm looking at. I got 3 commune with dinosaurs. Got 2 shade bearers for merfolk. Three feral prowlers for cats. Four wild growth walker. 2 river herald's boon, which is a common. I can cash in some of those common wild cards. Jungleborn Pioneer is also a common, and it's pretty good to curve out with in the Merfolk deck. Got 2 Ranging Raptors, 2 Pride Sovereign, 2 Thrashing Brontodon, So let's do this. Let's put together a skeleton of each of these decks and see which one I'm going to have the best options to upgrade with my wildcard selection. Let's start out with Merfolk. It auto-populates land based off of your proportions of each color. But I'm going to go ahead and include the unclaimed territories and the tap lands just to get a little more consistency. You got to be careful not to overdo it with the tap lands in Merfolk because it is a very aggressive deck. You want to go ahead and hit the ground running with this strategy. We'll throw in Vanquisher's Banner as a potential top end for that deck. I just don't ever plan on getting to 7 mana, so I'm going to skip Tishana, Voice of Thunder. I don't really think Hadana's Climb is going to be super powerful in this build. So I'm going to skip it right now. Probably going to have to focus on lower curve options like Forerunner of the Heralds, Vineshaper Mystic, Jade Guardian, Jungleborn Pioneer, River Herald's Boon, I might want to put Cartouche of Strength and Ambuscade in there. It depends on how this shakes out. Definitely want a Merfolk Branchwalker. It's just too much value there. Let's see. And let's see what we've got in blue for this deck. Open into Wonder is typically a little expensive for a Merfolk deck, but considering how little I have to work with right now, I'm going to consider it. Same thing goes for River's Rebuke. Tempest Caller is one of the great finishers for Merfolk decks in general. Seafloor Oracle is very powerful in Merfolk. Herald of Secret Streams is a little bit situational. You have to have the right build in Merfolk, but potentially very, very powerful. Kapala, Water Trap Weaver. River Sneak, 3 copies of. Silvergill Adept, much needed card draw. I'm going to throw in a Chart of Course, just because. Three Mistcloaked Herald. 2 Dive Down. That's the thing about Merfolk is it's very, very vulnerable to disruption. So you definitely want to make sure that you have that covered. And while I'm at it, where... One with the Wind. One with the Wind on Jade Guardian is one of the great limited combos of Ixalan. And that brings me to exactly 60 cards. Let's see what we've got here. Dive Down, Mistcloaked Herald, Jade Bearer, Kamina's Speaker, Chart a Course, One with the Wind, River Sneak, Silvergill Adept, Merfolk Branchwalker, River Herald's Boon, Merfolk Mistbinder, Kapala, Water Trap Weaver, Jungleborn Pioneer, Vineshaper Mystic, Herald of Secret Streams, Seafloor Oracle, Tempest Caller, Forerunner of the Heralds, Jade Guardian, and a Vanquisher's Banner. And a River's Rebuke and an Open to Wonder. Okay, so right now, let's be straight up. This is looking kind of janky. If I'm going to be able to make this work, I'm going to have to cash in some of those wild cards. So let's do that. Let's focus on the cards that I really like in the deck. That would be Merfolk Mistbinder and Kamina Speaker. That's going to be our 1-2 punch in this deck. So I've got 5 uncommons to work with. I'm going to go ahead and put 3 in as Merfolk Mistbinder, and then I'm going to put 2 in as Kamina Speaker. Let's do that. All right. Let's search up Merfolk and peruse over to Merfolk Mistbinder. That's a confirm. Confirm. And confirm. Okay. We also want to hit them hard, going strong. So I'm going to throw in with my other 2 uncommon wild cards. I'm going to throw in 2 Kamina Speaker. Confirm. And confirm. Okay, so that's what wild cards are. They're literally anything you need for your deck. You could just cash them in and get whatever you want. All right. So that should make the deck a lot more consistent and a lot more aggressive. And help me eliminate some of the jank out of the deck. Okay, get rid of that. Question is, what do I want to do with the rare? I forget the name of it, but the Professor's preview card is pretty good as a Lord substitute. But it's also kind of slow. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. But I'm definitely getting 2 more River Herald's Boon, because that is a really good card across every format. So we will cash in 2 wild cards for that. All right. Now we'll get 2 more Dive Down, because that looks good. This deck is very vulnerable to disruption. So I definitely want to protect from that as much as possible. And we've got a little hiccup. Don't worry, folks. That's what the beta test is for. I've got a question as to whether or not this game is new. This game is currently in development. What you're looking at is the closed beta. Today is the first day I get to air this to the public. And I'm pretty stoked about it. They reset our collections today, so I have to start from scratch, building viable decks. I'm trying to make the most out of my wild cards and put together something as powerful and consistent as possible right out the gate. Okay, so let's find some dive downs, because I feel like dive down is going to be crucial in this deck. Absolutely pivotal. Merfolk do not like disruption. They don't, it doesn't work out for them at all. So let's make this deck as difficult to disrupt as humanly possible. What else do we got here? Cartouche of Knowledge is card draw and gives flying. That's potential evasion and boosting up my creatures so they're still relevant late game. That could be really good for Kamina Speaker and Jade Guardian. I'm wondering if I'd want to include that instead of getting additional copies of One with the Wind. What do you think, chat? And for my rares, I really don't foresee myself getting additional copies of Kapala or Herald of the Secret Streams. That just doesn't strike me as being the best use of my wild cards. Let's do this. Let's get additional copies of Jungleborn Pioneer, because it's only common, and curving into that would be very, very powerful. All right, search engine doesn't seem to be working for me, so I'm going to just click through. It's sorted based on color and mana cost. Ooh, what about using my rares to get some Jadelight Rangers? Jadelight Ranger is a very powerful card, seeing a lot of standard play right now. It's good card draw. It's potentially a lot of value for only 3 mana. That's a good option for this deck. But I don't want to go too heavy on the 3 spot. This has got to be an aggressive, low-to-the-ground deck. Let's make some cuts. We can cut Open into Wonder. We can cut Vanquisher's Banner, River's Rebuke. This has got to be low to the ground, fast. Forerunner of the Heralds. I think we can skip. What else do we have in here that I don't particularly care for? I like the low curve stuff. Chart of Course, not so much. As much as I like it in, say, Pirates and favorable winds decks, this is not that type of deck. Not especially not when we can get potential card advantage through Silvergill Adept or our Explore creatures, for example. So we want to keep our 2 drops high, our 1 drops high, because we're an ultra aggressive deck. Water Trap Weavers tend to be pretty underwhelming, though. They were good to draft, getting those tempo plays in, but in this particular build, I don't think that's the 3 drops I'm looking for. Gotta cut 1 more card. Let's cut Kapala and just race out there. Okay, so that's been decided. Now it's a matter of deciding what I want to do with the 3 drops. I definitely need more 3 drops in the deck. So, chat saying more utility. That makes sense. We are an aggro deck, but last thing we want to do is run out of gas. So, what I'm thinking I'm going to do here is, because I don't have Kamina or a lot of lords right now, I'm going to go ahead and cut Jungleborn Pioneer. And put in there's that Cartouche of Knowledge. So now I've got some additional card draw, and I've got some good value at the 1 and 2 spot. I'm low on the 3 spot, so I'm going to want to find something in 4s to cut out, because 3 drop is super important in this deck. These are all super good finishers right here. So I want to keep these 3. What have I got in the low curve spots? Well, bear with me here. What if I take out 1 with the Wind, Jade Guardian, and I put in the 3 drop. What was her name? It's here somewhere. Give me 1 second. Jade Light Ranger. So what if I put in a playset of Jade Light Ranger and use Herald of Secret Streams, Seafloor Oracle, and Tempest Caller as my finishers? No objections? All right, chat. I'm going for it. Gonna get a ton of value off of this card. Alright, that should bring me to 60 cards. We're gonna call this Merfolk Blitz. Gonna do one final check over here. You'll notice that there's not much for by way of removal. That's because I'm just looking to crash through as fast as possible and force through damage. This is not a control deck by any means. This isn't even mid-range. This is fast. This is fierce. And this is about finishing my opponent off, preferably by turn 4, possibly by turn 5 or 6. But this is all about speed. I am running Dive Down as a way to protect my investment on creatures that I already have in play. And Cartouche of Knowledge will get me additional card draw and give me some additional evasion. So that's what I'm looking at. I think this is going to be the Merfolk deck. All right. Let's see who's out there. Because remember, my quests right now are cast 12 black or green spells, cast 12 red or green spells, and attack with 15 creatures. So I need a green deck that does a lot of attacking, and this will do both. All right, let's go ahead and find a matchup. Select deck, Merfolk Blitz. Let's play and see what happens. It's definitely not as tuned as I would like, but I think that there's a lot of power behind it. We'll see if it stalls out late game. That would be my main concern. All right, Wanda. Here we go. All right. First match since the reset. Let's go, Wanda. What are we doing here? Luck is for losers, chat. I'm going on all skill. Okay, here we go. Starting hand. We do technically have a 1-drop. It's not one that we want to use on turn 1, but we have a Lord, and we have 2 really good spells to protect them. So I say we go with it. Let's be aggressive. That hand's a little bit iffy, but I'm going to run with it. All right. So, just to review, we've got 2 forests, tap duel, dive down, which will protect our creatures, giving them hexproof. We've got a Jade Bearer, which is a 1-drop that typically you want to drop when you already have something in play. We have a Merfolk Mistbinder, which is probably the best card in our deck. And we have a River Herald's Boon, which is probably the best combat trick in the format. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out a Forest first. And a Jade Bearer. Not ideal first turn drop, but I'd rather get on the board and swinging with this deck. Chat's got a Totodile in there. That's hilarious. All right, what do they got? Come on, Wanda. Come on, Wanda. Wanda played Cycling Desert. That's an interesting choice. So I didn't top deck into an island, so I won't be able to curve out into my Merfolk Mist Binder, which is what I would have preferred. But that's okay. I'm going to instead play a forest. And then I'm going to attack with my Jade Bearer. Come on. You can do it. And then before damage, I will pump up my Jade Bearer. Typically, I want to save this to cast in response to something, but right now, I'm just trying to push through as much damage as I can before my opponent can get off the ground. Hopefully, they don't have a lightning strike. That would ruin my day. That's why Kamina Speaker is infinitely better as a first turn drop. All right, they're playing Is It Colors? Do they have a lightning strike? That's the question. Lightning strike. All right. They just 2-for-1 me. That's not ideal. And now I'm in a situation where I've got nothing to play on turn 3. That hurt. Yeah, we've got a lot of subscribers to our YouTube channel. All right. There's an island. Day late and $1 short, but I'll take it just the same. So, first thing I want to do is race out my Jade Light Ranger. Put that in my graveyard. Put that in my graveyard. Jade Light Ranger is pure value. I don't believe I have the means to attack. So instead, I will end my turn holding up 1 blue mana for my dive down, just to protect him. Don't want to wind up in that same position I was in before. I'm definitely scared of removal with this deck. So, what do we got here? Is he going to attack? Is he going to stay? He can't block. All right, he may as well get the damage through. So, or she. Sorry, Wanda. Hit me with your best shot. I'll take the 1 and be happy with that. Now, she's holding up 3 mana, so I have to be careful of Supreme Will. So ideally, I want to play Merfolk Mistbinder here, but since I have to be worried about that Supreme Will, I'm going to go ahead and play River Sneak instead. Leaving up mana for my dive down if necessary, and then I will attack for 4. Which obviously is going to get through. She has no blockers. End turn. What do you got for me, Wanda? You got 4 mana now. Impress me. If you've been watching our YouTube channel, we've been doing a lot of coverage of the recent leaks of Dominaria cards. That's gotten us a lot of publicity lately. If you're interested in analysis of all the latest previews, check out our channel on YouTube. It's Metagame Mastery. I have no blockers, so I'm fine with getting hit for 1 in the air. And I will take my turn. Happily take my turn. And an island is just what I was looking for, leaving me with enough mana to drop Merfolk, Mistwalker, and still have mana available in case of a counter. Nice. No counter. That means I get to attack in. All right. Smash. All right. I will end turn, leaving up mana for my dive down. What do you got for me? Come on, Wanda. Surprise me with that Hour of Devastation. I would feel pretty devastated if she had it. Does she have it? Does she have it? Attackers. Now, the way the game automatically stops every time you have an instant in your hand is a tell for my opponent. They know that I'm holding something up. So, she may as well attack. Especially if you're about to wipe the board. Get that 1 damage through. Why not? Damage. Alright. Come on. Hour of Devastation. You know you want to. River Herald's Boon? Or, I'm sorry. River's Rebuke, I should say. What do we got here? What am I looking at? We're up to 4 mana. Tapping her lands very carefully. 5 mana. Leaving up 1 blue. Hour of Devastation. Yep, she had it. Dive down. Could save my Jade Light Ranger. So that's what I'll do. Is I will save Jade Light Ranger. Jade Light Ranger survives. I'm in a good attacking position. I will go ahead and attack. And I'm going to bluff that I still have a dive down in my hand by ending turn. Let's see if she falls for my bluff. Yeah, check out the YouTube channel. We have tons and tons of content on there right now. We're up to 36 videos. All right. What do you got for me? She's got something. She is playing a control deck. So I've got her down to 1 life. I'm feeling pretty good. But if I can't force through that damage, then it's all for naught. A Braid. Ouch. Perfect answer. All right. Let's get 2 Miscloaked Heralds on the board. Force her to answer both of them. She definitely does not want that to happen, being unblockable. All right. We lured out a cancel. Let's drop another one. All right. No answer. Let's sit. All right. And I drew into a dive down. So let's see what happens. I attack for the win. Got it. First game is a win. That Hour of Devastation was devastating. And not drawing into an island when I needed it, that hurt. But the aggressive nature of the deck pulled out in the end. So I've got 200 gold. I played 4 green spells. So that's 4 towards 2 of my achievements, and then I attacked with 6 creatures. So that's 6 out of 15 on that quest. And for my new card, I got a Lookout's Dispersal. So I've got Mana Leak for Pirates. That's a welcome addition. Especially if I'm going to start playing favorable winds. Alright guys, we're going to experience a brief interruption while I go ahead and pull up my... I'm going to stop the video here, and then I'm going to come right back, start a new one. Match 2